we are going to be doing a little bit of somatic work in the beginning. So if you would want a blanket down, you could put one down. You don't have to. We're not going to do a lot, but if you like a blanket down, you can do that as well. Okay, so just take a couple of moments to settle in as you're ready. Give everyone a minute there. Okay, so go ahead, be on your back, and you can have your feet flat if you like, or legs out straight, whatever feels best for you this morning. Start to take a couple moments to find your breath. And we'll be focusing on the area in the upper back, the area of the shoulder blades, the trapezius. So maybe you can bring some breath there into that upper spine area. So I like to imagine that I'm breathing in through the front of my heart into the back body. We might be able to feel that a little better once we're sitting, but you might be able to just find a little bit of that here in the first couple moments. And maybe noticing sensations there in your upper back. So for many of us, it's kind of a stiffer area of the body, not a whole lot of mobility, but we'll work on that today. Maybe notice how it feels by your shoulder blades. Is there any maybe pinching sensation in around the shoulder blades? Notice how much your shoulder blades kind of normally tuck in towards each other or spread apart from each other. Let's take about 3 more breath cycles. We'll be focusing on poses that kind of open the back of the shoulder blades. So from here, if your knees are not bent, go ahead and bend your knees, setting your feet flat, and then we're going to take the arms straight up toward the ceiling. And we're going to do a little bit of just like the pulley that we've done before. So take your right arm and try to touch the ceiling and feel how your shoulder blade is pulling away from your spine. You might even feel this through your core a bit. And then release that arm down and then take the left arm up. Try to touch the ceiling with your fingers. And we're just going to go side to side, nice and gentle. Take that for a few more cycles. Just starting to go slowly. Try not to rush this movement. All right, and then go ahead and release that. Let the arms come down for a moment. And then let's do the one we call the Russian dancer. So we'll take the arms up again and then hold opposite elbows. So this always feels nice in the backs of the shoulders. So for this one, let's drop the knees to the right and take the arms to the left and let your head go with your knees to the right. And give a little gentle pull on your arms so you feel that stretch behind the shoulder blade. And then go ahead and go side to side. There's a lot going on in this little movement pattern. We're also getting maybe some work through the spine, through the core, maybe even through your hips. But it's starting to allow the shoulder blades to protract a little bit away from the spine. So a lot of times when we do back bends, we're going to do some back bends today. We tend to really pinch the shoulder blades together, depending on our body type and our level of flexibility. But we're going to focus today on creating more space in the back when we do those back bends. Okay, let's come back to the start and just switch your arms. So opposite arm comes on the top. And we'll do that a few more rounds with that Russian dancer kind of movement. Side to side, let your head follow the knees. And just as you come into the end range, just give a gentle pull on your arms so that you feel that shoulder blade pull away from the spine. Couple more cycles. All right, and then we're going to come back to the beginning. Let the arms come down. And then we're going to grab one block. And we're going to take the block between the palms and extend the arms straight up toward the ceiling. Okay. All right, so from here, we're going to try and push the block up toward the ceiling. And you're going to feel your shoulder blades spread apart. And you might feel your back round a little bit. You might feel your core engage. And then go ahead and release. So it's almost like the pulley, but we're doing it with both arms now. So push that block. Try to touch the ceiling. Feel those shoulder blades spread apart. Maybe your mid-lower back's pressing down. And release. Let's do 2 more cycles like that. Eventually, we'll do something similar with our weight bearing that we call the shoulder flossing. Haven't done that one in a while. It's really good for the movement of the shoulder blades. Okay, keep the block overhead for a moment. Lift it a little bit toward the ceiling, but not so much that you're changing the shape of your spine. So let the spine, don't go so far that you round or your neck kind of kinks. Go ahead, just press it up as far as you can. Now we're going to start to take it overhead. So press your hands into the sides of the blocks and see if you can take those arms overhead without popping your rib cage. And then you'll go only as far as you can. And then we're going to bring it back up. Okay. So as you take the arms overhead, be really mindful that your rib cage doesn't pop off the ground. So you might even press your back ribs down. The core will be a little more engaged as you lift and lower that block. So a lot of times when we try to take the shoulders overhead, if the shoulders are feeling a little limited, we go into a big back arch. And I want to avoid that today. Of course, we want to avoid it most of the time, unless we're intentionally creating a back bend. So things like chair pose, when we take the arms overhead, a lot of times we get that rib cage flare. So we'll try to teach ourselves not to. Last cycle here. Now see if you can hover it just above the floor for a moment. Press your palms into that block, press your back ribs down, and reach that block away from your body, lengthening the side body. And it's just above the ground. If you need to bring it to the ground, that's fine. And then slowly bring it back up. Good. Okay, set that block to the side. And we're just going to bring those knees into the chest for a moment. Just go ahead and hug the knees and let your back body sort of melt into the ground. Hold here for another breath or two. Okay. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and roll over to our side and come on up into a seated position. And I forgot to mention, we are going to use a strap today. I'm sorry, I totally forgot this one little part we're doing. So if you don't have a strap at home, you can use a scarf or a belt, so whatever you have. And if you don't have anything nearby, you can just do whatever we're doing without the strap. You just repeat the same arm movements, okay? All right, so go ahead and sit and widen your sit bones. I'll give you guys a moment to grab that strap. While we're waiting, let's just go ahead and roll the shoulders out a little bit. Good, and then take that in the other direction. Okay, grab strap, if you have a super long strap, you could fold it in half like I'm doing. And normally we might have the palms forward. We're gonna take the palms and flip them so they're facing toward the back. And we're gonna take that strap overhead. Yeah, so this is gonna be surprisingly challenging on the shoulders. We're just gonna start by pulling the strap apart with your hands, okay? So pause there and try to lift up and touch the ceiling like we've been doing, which lifts and elevates the shoulder blades. And then from here, we're gonna bend the elbows and try to take that strap behind the back of our head. And really lift and reach those elbows up, and then release and take the arms straight up again. Now, if you feel like your elbows splayed a lot, go a little bit closer if you can with your strap. Okay, pause there, pull apart, and then go ahead and bend the elbows. Take it behind the back of your head. Keep lifting the elbows up as you bend. So it's really slow motion. And you're gonna feel perhaps a little work in your upper back. Let's do 2 more cycles. When you get to the top, pull the strap apart and then bend. Keep pulling as you bend. And only go as far as it feels right for you. And then we're gonna do 1 more cycle. Lift up, try not to let your rib cage pop. Pull on that strap and bring it down behind the back of your head. Good, and then last time, reach it back up and then release. Nice work. The sun just popped into the window, so I'm having a blind spot, but hopefully you guys can still see me. Okay, we're gonna take the right arm out to the side and swing it across the body and hook above the elbow. And then we're gonna stay here, resist the right shoulder to the right a bit as you pull the arm toward the left. And keep sitting up tall, sit bones are rooting down. And have a few breaths here, and imagine you can send that breath into the back of your shoulder blade. And the sensation of the breath moving from the front of the heart into the back of the shoulder. 1 more breath here. And then go ahead and just release for a moment before we do the other side. Just take a moment to observe that right side. Okay, let's do that on the other side. Take the arm across your body, hook above the elbow, and then we're resisting the left shoulder to the left as we try to pull the arm to the right. So we're really lengthening that tissue, just like we talked about last week with the creep stuff. And then hold here and breathe into the back of your shoulder. One more breath. Good, and then slowly release and pause. Notice into that left side now. Okay, so change the crossing of your legs. And we're gonna take that right arm up again. And this time, we're gonna imagine you're kind of screwing a light bulb in. So you're gonna turn your palm. And as you turn your palm, your shoulder blade wraps forward. That's called shoulder protraction. So keep that sensation of the shoulder blade wrapping toward the front of your body. As you reach that arm up a little higher, now we'll come into a side bend. So walk the left fingers out. And keep trying to feel like you're spiraling your pinky finger a little bit toward the back body till you feel like your shoulder blade kind of wraps around your rib cage. When we do that wrapping sensation, it's very optimal for the shoulder and really optimal when we're weight bearing and doing something like downward facing dog. So take another breath here, try to reach through that arm. And then we're gonna slowly start to come up. So a lot of times when we come into our dog, our shoulders rotate in and we feel really pinchy up in our neck. So we're gonna explore that later when we do our down dog. So let's take the other arm up, left arm up. Sorry about the glare. And then rotate your pinky finger in like you're trying to screw a light bulb in, and then reach up, up, up with that hand. as if you're going to touch the ceiling. Okay, and then coming into the side bend. And as you come into the side bend, keep rotating that pinky finger down and toward the back so you feel that wrapping sensation of the shoulder blade. And then really reach through that arm for another breath. And then on your next inhalation, slowly release and come on up. Okay, let's go ahead in our table and do some cat-cows. So all fours, pat if you need to. Now, before we start our cat-cows, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, we're gonna press through our palms. And as you press through your palms, you're gonna feel maybe a little bit of that shoulder protraction. Now, this is a cue we haven't done in a little while, but we're gonna press into those palms and imagine we're gonna turn them out. So just kind of what I call squeegee the hands into the ground. You're not moving them, you're not actually turning them. It's like an isometric turning your palms out. And just feel how that, feel what it feels like in your shoulders when you do that. Gives you more stability and strength. So keep that and then begin your cat-cow. So inhale, exhale, round. And as you round, keep that kind of squeegee action in your hands. And then inhale and arch, lift your sit bones, your gaze, your chest. Exhale, round. And as you round, you're really pushing through those palms, feeling those shoulder blades spread apart when we create that space in the back body. The arms might get a little tired because we're using more muscles doing these actions that we're doing. On your next exhale, we're gonna pause and come into cat pose. Stay there. Really pull your tailbone down, lift your abdomen up, push the floor away, and try to breathe between your shoulder blades. You send that breath there, you might feel them spread apart even more. Press down through your shins and your feet. And then release to tabletop, and we'll come into child's pose. And take about 3 cycles of breath in your child's pose. Give those arms a little rest. So it is a little bit of a strengthening practice today. So we're going to work those arms and shoulders a bit. After your 3rd breath cycle, let's go ahead and come back up into our tabletop position. Okay, same thing. We're going to press through those palms, squeegee the arms a little bit. And now we're going to do our shoulder flossing. So we're going to let the arms stay as tall as they can. Don't bend your elbows, but drop your chest. And as you drop your chest, you're going to feel those shoulder blades draw in. And then you're going to push through your palms and spread the shoulder blades apart. So it's not a cat-cow. It's just a dropping of the chest. Shoulder blades pull in. And then push into the palms, shoulder blades are spreading apart. It's a very small movement. So 2 more like this. And take your time so you can really feel the full range of this movement. So as you come in, really feel the spine move in. And as you press away, feeling those shoulder blades move apart. All right, and then come back again into your child's pose. Rest those hands. And then come forward onto your belly. And we'll come up into Sphinx posture. Okay, pressing through the palms, lift your chest. And then as you press through your forearms, see if you can feel any engagement through your shoulder muscles. And we're gonna isometrically try to pull your palms apart, pull your arms, your elbows apart. And notice that that feels a little more spacious in your back body. Holding there, another breath. And then release stack up your hands, rest your forehead, take a moment. All right, let's do that one more time. Come up onto your forearms, do another round of Sphinx. Press down into your arms, your wrists, your palms, and try to pull them apart as you lift your chest. Keep the back of the neck long, try not to kink the neck. Holding there, another breath. Now stay with it and see if you can pick your feet up off the ground. So it gives us a little bit more of a back bend. Push down in your arms, pull apart, and then maybe a little bit of trying to engage your legs by lifting your thighs. That causes cramping, then don't try to lift your thighs. Good, and then feet down and release, rest it down again. Okay, we're gonna come up again. This time slide your right knee out to the side. We're gonna be coming into a twist from here. So some of you might wanna have a pillow or a blanket for under your head. You can watch for a moment. We've done this before. It's almost like we're coming into a thread the needle. The left arm is gonna thread under the right. And you really wanna get that shoulder blade as far through as you can. And then you're gonna roll yourself open into a twist. Now you can stay on the side of your right hip and let your hand rest on your thigh, or you can kind of scoot that hip over a little bit and try to get your shoulder blades on the ground. So that would be a little bit of a deeper twist. You like there's space in the back body here. So if it's too much to go all the way open, then you're gonna stay on your side, but you're still getting, especially that right shoulder blade is protracting. So I want you to see if you can pull or scoot your right shoulder blade a little bit more to the right. And then take a few breaths there. If it's uncomfortable, you can bend the bottom knee. That could alleviate a little bit of the lower back strain here. But if you can, that leg could also stay straight. One more breath here. And then slowly release, and we're coming back onto our belly. And you can either rest down or you can come back up into your Sphinx posture. And just take a moment in center before we do that other side. I flip around so I'm not facing away from you guys, especially without my mic today. So now we're going to do left arm thread the needle. So the left arm is going to slide behind the right and really try to get that shoulder blade through as far as you can. And then we start to roll open into the twist. Oh, I forgot to tell you to bend that knee. So that top leg, the knee is bent. And then either stay there on the side of your hip, or you can scoot that hip over a little bit more and try to get your chest to face the ceiling. And the shoulder blades are both on the ground. Okay, so you can either go kind of halfway into the twist or fully into the twist. Remember, you can bend that bottom knee. That alleviates any strain. And then see if you can scoot that shoulder blade a little bit more over to the side. So the bottom shoulder blade. And then we're breathing here. Nice, slow, soft breath. I think I said the wrong rights and lefts there, guys. So hopefully you guys are on your other side. I think when I switched orientation, it confused me. So go ahead, take about maybe 2 or 3 more breaths. All right, and then we're going to very slowly start to roll back and either into your Sphinx or rest down. Okay, from here, we're going to come up into tabletop. If you had a blanket down for your somatic work, we're going to take that off now. So go ahead and fold up your blanket, take it off your mat so we can do some standing work. You've got socks on, you can take those off now. And then we'll come back into tabletop pose for a moment. Okay, walk your hands a little bit forward of your shoulders. So you set up for downward facing dog. And then press your palms into your mat, especially your finger pads, and do that squeegee action as if you're going to turn your palms open, but don't actually move them. They might be turned out just a hair. And then we're going to tuck the toes and lift up, downward facing dog. Now, as you come into your dog, notice if your shoulders kind of rotate inward, your neck is all crunchy, and then see if you can get that sensation of pushing into your palms, squeegee them open, and get that wrapping sensation in your shoulder blades, as if they're going to wrap around your rib cage. You can bend your knees here, lift your sit bones up. We'll take another breath. Okay, knees to the ground. And let's just go ahead and come up on the knees for a moment. Give those arms a break. We're going to do a lot of weight bearing today. Interlace your palms overhead. Stretch up. Lengthen from tail to crown of head. Press the palms up. This is shoulder elevation. We're lifting the shoulder blades. And then release. And we're coming back down into our tabletop position. Okay, take those hands slightly forward of the shoulders again. We're going to do like a little bit of a push-up here. So what I want you to do is bend your elbows just an inch or so toward the side. Okay, and then we're going to push through the palms, straighten the arms, and firm the tricep muscles. Do that 2 more times. Bend the elbows a little bit to the side. They don't have to go far. Try to keep your neck neutral. And then push. Straighten the arms, firm your triceps. 1 more time. Good. And then release. Inhale, reach up. And then from here, we're going to bring hands to the lower back, point your fingertips down. Pull your sacrum down toward the ground, your tailbone down. And just a little baby camel. Lift your chest up toward the ceiling. And then if you can, think about pulling your arm bones apart, and that'll give you a little more space in your back, space in your chest. If that's a little bit too much, you can always do a clasp of the hands if putting your hands here hurts your wrists. Pull the arm bones apart. Good. Slowly release. We're coming back down to tabletop pose. I'm just trying to give you guys little breaks from all the upper body work. Hands go slightly forward. We're going to add on to that push-up, okay? So some of you have done this with me before. I usually do it in down dog, but it's a little more gentle doing it on our knees. I call it the down dog push-up. So we're going to bend those elbows to the sides again. But now we're going to try and rotate the elbows in and squeeze them in so they're right behind your wrists. And then push in your palms and straighten your arms, okay? So I'll explain that a few more times. Bend your elbows out toward the sides, just like we did before. And then as if you're gonna pin a block between your elbows, kind of rotate your arms in so your elbows come behind your wrists, and then push and straighten your arms. Do that 1 more time, bend the elbows to the side. Then try to squeeze an imaginary block between your elbows and push through your arms. Good. Inhale, we're coming up on those knees. Reach the arms up. Interlace your palms, press up. Tailbone down, lift through your rib cage. And then again, into that baby camel pose. Bring your hands behind you. Pull the tailbone and the sacrum down. A little bit of a back bend. You can always change the hand position if you need to. And then pull the arm bones apart. Get spacious. Back of the neck is long. One more breath. Good, and then let's release. Now we'll actually come back into downward facing dog. Take your hands a little forward of your shoulders. Turn the hands out a hair. Tuck the toes, lift your knees, downward facing dog. Have a little bend in those knees. Send the hip creases up high, your sit bones as if they want to touch the ceiling. And then let's try that down dog push-up. Then the elbows to the side, and then squeeze the elbows in behind the wrists and push. And then helps get those shoulders in an optimal position for downward facing dog. So we're not pinching, and we feel really broad through our back. The shoulder blades are wrapping. Okay, let's go ahead, bend the knees, walk your hands back toward your feet, and fold forward over your legs. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. 2 more rounds. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. One more time. And then next inhalation, let's go ahead and rise all the way up. Reach your arms overhead. And exhale, release. Hands to your heart. Okay, standing in your mountain pose, you can have your feet about hips distance apart. Root through those legs, engage the legs, and then let's take the arms up and overhead again. Okay, notice if your ribs have popped out to compensate for tightness in your shoulders. I want you to anchor that rib cage down so it's not popping forward. And then rotate your pinky fingers in. I know I'm a little bit short on the view here. Turn your pinkies in like you're screwing that light bulb into the center. And then lengthen, trying to touch the ceiling. So it's called external rotation of the shoulder. So I'm gonna come a little closer. When we turn the palm, pinky rolls in, that shoulder blade is wrapping. Let's go ahead, take one hand over to the right shoulder blade, left hand to the right shoulder blade. That's it. And then feel like you're wrapping it, pulling it with your hand, and then reach that arm up, up, up. And then hold there, send your breath into the back of your shoulder blade. Good, release. And let's do the other side. So we'll reach the other arm up, reach it over and hold that shoulder blade with your hand and kind of rotate, wrap it forward and reach up through your arm. Try to touch the ceiling. That pinky finger is rotating in toward the midline. And you're feeling that shoulder blade move away from the spine. One more breath. Good, and then release. Okay, so there's a lot of confusion with the shoulder blades. So I'm gonna just come a little closer and show you guys. So you can stand there for a moment. When you turn your palms up, this is called external rotation. And then when you take the arms overhead, both shoulder blades should be wrapping. The opposite is internal rotation. So if we go like this, you'll see how it pinches into the neck and the shoulders. If we try to take the arms up, it's really kind of crunchy in here. So that's the important thing about when we're weight bearing, we don't want to be like this in our down dog. We want to be more open. Okay, couple of half sun salutations and we'll keep moving. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Okay, one more time through. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, hands to your heart. We're gonna go through 2 full sun salutations now. Take modifications as you like. You can drop your knees in the vinyasas. So we'll come at the top of the mat. And we're going to try and remember the shoulder rotation movements. I'll remind you in the different poses, okay? Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to your halfway lift. Plant your hands, step back plank pose, top of a push-up. Squeegee those hands into the ground. You can drop your knees here if you like. Chest reaches forward. Keep that feeling of turning your fingers outward without moving them, and then lower down. It keeps the chest and the back open as you come down. Inhale, cobra pose. We're going to stay in cobra and try to pull your palms apart isometrically, like you're trying to stretch your mat apart. And then release. You can come through all fours if you like, or right to downward facing dog. Hold your dog a moment. Bend those knees, lift the sit bones, and wrap the shoulder blades. So you want to feel that engagement of the shoulder where it meets your ribs. When you're ready, walk it forward, top of the mat. Inhale to your halfway lift. Try not to tip your chin up. Exhale and fold. Chin comes in as you fold. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. So we're going to go through another round. I'm not going to do as many cues for the shoulders, but keep all of that in mind. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Step back to your plank pose. Drop those knees if you like. Chest stays forward. Isometrically turn the palms and lower down slowly. Try not to dip into your back as you lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. As you come into your dog, try to keep that shoulder protraction and don't let the shoulders crowd up by the ears. We're externally rotating. All right, go ahead, walk your feet forward, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale and fold. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And exhale, draw your hands to your heart. Good. Okay, we're gonna try our chair pose and we're gonna see if we can keep that spaciousness in the back body, that wrapping of the shoulder blades in our chair pose. So we're gonna bend the knees and try to make sure that your hip creases go back and you can see your toes. We want most of the weight in the heels, but do press through the balls of the feet as well. Tone your belly. Let's start with hands at the heart. Now to make sure that we're not going to strain our back here, see if you can keep your hip points lifting up. And you'll feel that lengthens your lower back just a little bit. Press your palms together and you'll feel that that also helps keep the back nice and open. You can stay with that. Or we're going to reach the arms overhead, separate your palms. Try to lift your chest and sink your hips a little bit. And then we're screwing that light bulb in. Turn your hands, wrap your shoulder blades, and then reach through your fingers and try not to do the rib popping here. One more breath. And then press through your feet. Inhale, we'll come all the way up. And then release, arms down at your side. Okay. Stand in the middle of your mat. We're gonna do a couple warrior poses, but we're gonna keep working on this openness in the back body. We'll step the feet apart. Bring your hands to your hips. Make sure we're lifting the front of the abdomen, lengthening the tailbone. A lot of times if we have that big arch in our back, and that brings that tightness into the tissues of the back. So we want to keep the pelvis neutral, is going to also help our back. Turn your whole right leg out. Turn your left toes in, widen your heel a little bit. And then bend your right knee coming into a warrior two position. turn your chest to square straight ahead toward the side of your mat. And then we're gonna be taking the arms overhead, but we're gonna do a diamond position with the hands. I'm gonna come closer so you guys can see. You put your thumbs together and your index finger together. It makes like a diamond shape. And we're gonna take that overhead. Let's see if I can adjust this a little bit so we get a little more, okay. Okay, so in your warrior two, bring your thumb and index finger together in that diamond shape, and we're gonna take it overhead. Good, so really reach up high as if you're gonna touch the ceiling. Keep that diamond shape, bend a little deeper into your front knee. Press down into your feet, especially your heels. And then we're gonna bend those elbows as if you're gonna bring your thumbs to the top of your head. And sort of press your elbows back a little bit. You feel open through the chest and through the upper back. We're gonna tip into our reverse warrior and try to keep that positioning of the hands. Press your thumb and your index finger and widen your elbows. Good, and come back to the start. Good. Take those arms back up and overhead. Now we're gonna straighten the front leg and see if we can keep that positioning here. Thumb and index finger pressing, and bend those elbows again. Press down through your feet, especially your heels, and then we're gonna tip toward the right leg. So we're keeping those elbows pressing back so we stay open in the chest, open in the back, and then we'll come up. Now try not to jam your knee here. There's a little micro bend. We're gonna repeat that a few times. And you're only gonna go as far as it feels good for you. If it's too much on your back, you're only gonna go part way. Maybe you just go an inch or two, come back up, one more time. Okay, this time hold it. Press the elbows back, open your chest, release your bottom hand down, release your top arm up, and try not to collapse your chest forward. We're staying in that open position. Now try to pull up on your bottom shin so you feel like you're lifting your chest and reach the top arm up. So we're broadening, broaden across your chest and your back. One more breath. Too strong in the legs. And then we're rising back up to our warrior two. And straighten the leg, parallel your feet, bring your hands onto your hips. Good. Okay, pause there for a moment, take a breath. We'll do that on the other side. Okay, so adjusting your feet for warrior two. Left leg turns out all the way, right toes turn in, widen the heel, and then bend the knee, coming into your warrior two position. Turn your chest to face the long edge of your mat, and then we're gonna reach the arms overhead and find that diamond shape. Let's take it up initially. So we lengthen the side body, press your thumb and index finger together. You can even squeegee your front foot a little bit to open the hip, a little bonus, and then we're gonna bend and pause here. Good, press the elbows back a little bit so we feel that spaciousness. And then from here, we're gonna tip it toward our reverse warrior. Tip toward the back. Keep those elbows pressing back. Good, back to the start. And we'll take those arms back up again straight. Okay, straighten your front leg. Externally rotate that front leg a little bit by squeegeeing that foot into the mat. And then we'll bend again, press the elbows back. Good, and then we hinge at the hip crease and we go toward that left leg any amount, but try not to turn your chest, not to lose that spaciousness. And then we come back up on the inhale and exhale. We'll do it 2 more rounds. The pelvis tips a little bit toward your back foot. One more time, inhale up, exhale. And then keep that spaciousness as you release the bottom hand and take the top arm up. We're going to press the shin and hand into each other, so we're not blocking our knee joint. And then pull up on your bottom hand and try to touch the ceiling with your top hand and feel open and spacious through your chest and your upper back. Hold it there, another breath, strong in the legs. And then we rise back up to our warrior two. Okay, straighten your leg, parallel your feet, pause here. Engage your legs by rooting the feet into the ground. Feel that charge up through your legs. We're gonna take a wide leg forward fold, and we'll try to keep that spaciousness in the back body. So we're gonna bend the knees a little bit, hinge at your hip creases, fold forward, hands come down to the ground. Now, hands can stay kind of under your shoulders. If you wanna go deeper, they can go back in line with your feet or hold your big toes. Any variation you like. I'm gonna show the more mild version with hands in front of, right under my shoulders. Bend the knees a little bit. Try to tip your sit bones up and let your head and chest come down. And then we're gonna isometrically pull your palms apart. Whichever version you're in. If you're in the toe lock, you're gonna bend your elbows to the sides. You can also hold on to the outer ankles and press your ankles and your hands into each other. That'll also help broaden your back. So 2 more breaths. Trying to find that spacious quality. All right, slowly start to come back up, hands in front of your shoulders. Heel toe the feet in a little bit. And bend your knees, hands to hips, push through your feet, and we come all the way up to stand. Very good. Okay, step those feet back in. All right, come to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. And we're gonna step back to downward facing dog. Watch what those shoulder blades are doing. And then knees come down to the ground. We're not coming right into child's pose because we're going to set up for restorative child's pose. So did a lot of heavy work there. So I'm going to give you guys a nice rest. So grab a bolster or your bed pillows or sofa cushions, whatever you've got, and put that in front of you. If you are on a hard surface, grab something for under your knees. So I'm going to just open a blanket up here. And some people like the bolster flat. If you don't like to go all the way down so low, you can also stick a block under your props. So that's an option. I'll just leave that to you. And then we're gonna widen the knees apart, pull the bolster in pretty close. And then we're gonna drape our body over that bolster. Try to get as much of your torso on it as you can. And then turn your head to one side, let your arms drape, or you could hug your bolster with or without the block. We're gonna stay here for a few moments in our child's pose. If for any reason you don't like child's pose, it's not feeling good, you could also rest on your belly. See if you can let your hips go back towards your heels. So some of you, the hips are way up. So let your hips go back, and if that bothers your knees, stick a blanket behind the backs of your knees. That's another option. Okay. And then I want you to just think about letting your back body spread open wide. As if your spinal muscles could just kind of drape over the bolster. Send your breath into your back body. As you breathe, just feel you can sense the back body spreading. You might concentrate on sending your breath into the upper back or the lower back, middle back. And as you exhale, soften into the props. You might want to turn your head at some point to the other side. And just keep releasing into the props. We'll have you guys stay there for about 5 more breaths. Okay, from there, go ahead, slide your hands back and bring yourself up to a seated posture. And we're gonna take a supported forward fold. So we're gonna grab a pillow or a blanket to sit on. And your second blanket or pillow is gonna go under your knees. So you could maybe roll a blanket up and bring that right underneath the backs of your knees. And we're gonna take the knees and legs apart a little bit, widen your sit bones, take your sit bones apart and slightly back. So you feel like you're right on your pelvic floor and base. Now, if you wanted to, you could keep your props with you, like have a bolster to rest on. That might be nice if you have that. If you want like a deeper stretch, you would skip that and just come into it without, okay? Those of you who have any kind of back stuff going on, make sure you have a good bend in your knees. You could even roll 2 blankets if you want more of a bend in your knees, safer for your back. As long as your sit bones are pulling back and you hinge at your hips, there's a lot less risk there. Okay, when you're ready, start to fold forward. Slide your hands down your legs. And we're gonna let the chin tuck in if you can. Let your head be heavy. And you'll feel that spaciousness in your back body. Now, depending on how far down you are, you could also put a block under your forehead or stack up some blocks, make a tower, but you don't have to. Those are just options I'm giving you. Also, the bolster is nice. So the bolster gives us less load on the back of the hamstrings and the lower back. So sometimes that's nice to do. And then we're gonna send that breath into the back body, just like we did in our child's pose. So think about your sit bones moving back. So we still have nice length in the lower back. And we're gonna stay here for a few more breaths. Just be kind to your body, don't force anything. Let this be a little softer forward fold if you can. You can keep sending that breath into different areas of your back body, feeling a broadening of the spinal muscles away from the spine. This is very beneficial for balancing out our nervous system. So a lot of times if we are, depending on our posture and also our emotional states, our spinal muscles tend to contract inward, especially in more kind of anxious, elevated nervous system kind of states. By letting those spinal muscles soften away from the spine, it can be really soothing. Our nervous system along that central channel. Last 3 breaths. Now when we come up, very slowly, you're going to tone your belly, lift your head, and use your hands to start to bring yourself up. And once you get to the top, you're going to have just a little pause. We're going to probably end a few minutes late, guys, just so you're aware. I want to give you guys Shavasana, and then we're going to sit for a little spacious meditation. So let's go ahead and set up for our Shavasana now. Maybe you're going to have a pillow or a blanket for underneath your head. And since we have some pillows and bolsters, let's put them under the backs of the knees. That's nice for the lower back. You're going to scoot nice and close to whatever support you have there. And then come down. But before we take Shavasana, let's do another knee hug. So bring those knees in and just let your back melt into the ground. So the spine should feel very neutral here. It's not rounding, it's not arching, it's just very straight across the ground. And I want you to keep that as you separate your knees. And then grab behind the backs of your knees and let the feet hang. You should feel nice and spacious in your sacrum and your back. We're breathing into the belly. You want to go farther here, you're going to lift your feet like happy baby, but keep holding behind the backs of your knees for a moment. See if you can keep your shoulder blades down on the ground, not lifting away. See if you can keep your sacrum and your tailbone area down on the ground. So we've not changed the shape of the spine. If you want to go farther, reach up and hold onto your ankles. And pull down on your ankle bones a little bit, widening your knees. If you can still keep your spine in that neutral position, hold your feet, hold the sole of the foot. If you have lost that, then back out. One more breath. Good, and then knees hug in. And then now we can find Shavasana. So go ahead and take the legs over your crocs. It's a little chillier today, so feel free to grab some blankets and pile those on your body. And we're going to come to rest, letting those back muscles really melt into the ground. We did a lot of work today on the area of the shoulders, the shoulder blades, and the muscle that wraps around your rib cage. That's called the serratus anterior. We're going to let all of that melt, soften into the ground. For many of us, those are all weaker muscles, not like we use them on a really daily basis unless we're doing a lot of weight bearing. So your body may speak to you, may feel that tomorrow, but know that you did some good work. As long as you don't have any pain, a little soreness is okay. I'm gonna come up, you guys stay where you are, continuing to rest for a few more minutes. Okay, everyone, we'll start to reawaken. Just really take your time, deepen your breath a little. Add in those small movements. And take your time. You can move a little more when you are ready. We'll come over to your side in your own time for a few breaths. Coming on up as you are ready, finding a comfortable seat. So you might want to sit up onto your pillow or folded blanket. And we'll do a brief meditation. And I'll have a final reading for you guys. So find the tops of your sit bones. And let's focus on creating space for our meditation. Let the sit bones drop and get heavier as the crown of the head floats up. So we create space vertically. And then creating space a little more horizontally. Let's see if we can draw the elbows back, which will help broaden the collarbones. So maybe the elbows kind of rest right underneath your shoulders. So we are requiring our backs to support us here. Now, if this is hard to maintain, grab a couple of pillows or blankets and stick them under your knees. It'll help you feel a little more elevated with some support. So spacious vertically, spacious horizontally. And let's take a moment and feel like you're pulling your arm bones apart. Feel that space in the collarbones and the back. And then see if you can maintain that space as you let the arms relax. Let the eyes close if that's comfortable, or find a soft gazing point. And starting to bring your awareness to your brain, the crown of the head. Keep floating it upward toward the ceiling. And see if you can picture in your mind's eye, wide open blue sky in your mind. Maybe noticing if there are clouds. What are you seeing in this blue sky? Stay with a soft belly breath. And imagine that that spacious sky is not only contained in the skull, but expanding in that awareness beyond your body. So let your awareness become really spacious and open. You're taking in that whole big blue sky in your mind. So imagine if thoughts come up, you just allow those thoughts to float by like on a cloud, so that you don't come back to this narrow focus of something you need to do later or a thought that you have. See if we can maintain this spacious feeling without getting caught up in thought. Just feeling a broadening, widening of cranial bones. The eyes are soft and spacious inside the eyelids. The sensation of the temples broadening. Staying with that for a few more moments. I'm going to share a reading. This is from a book called Outrageous Openness, since that's our focus today. You begin to feel on a cellular level that things are unfolding exactly in the way they should, at the rate and timing they need. You start to trust the process. You relax from the endless pushing that most of us learned at birth. On some fundamental, mysterious level, you must let go. Not with that bitterness people feel when they fear the ego's dreams won't occur. not with passivity, as right actions do get shown. Rather, you relax into this calm curiosity about where the flow might go. You're detached, yet somehow riveted by how the story will unfold. You feel spaciously receptive and open to what wishes to come. You give it all room to blossom. You trust the highest, one way or another, will eventually unfold. You know that with the divine as your source, you needn't cling to any one plan. You're not clutching a list of desires, pushing the ego's agenda even more. When you're in cycles of quiet and waiting, you catch your breath, knowing the wheel again will turn. You rest because as the right actions get revealed, a lot will arise to be done. You wait for the signs and the timing rather than rip open the cocoon. You trust that delays might be welcome. You trust that delays can be good. You trust that delays are all perfect. And you stay present just to witness your own birth. Let's take a moment now and bring the hands together in front of the heart space. Take an inhale, allow the heart to lift, and exhale, bow your head down. Thank you, everyone. Namaste. Thank you, guys. Feel free to unmute if you like. Hope you guys have a good weekend. It's going to be cold and rainy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. How'd we do today? Do okay with all that?
I'll let you know tomorrow.
Yeah. You might feel it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Upper body is never our favorite to work on, but it's good.
It's all good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
good.
We need it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Take
Okay.
care.
Thank you for the Tosha.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You have that book, Tracy. Yeah. Tosha
Love
Silver
her.
is the author. Yeah, it's a great book, guys. Really kind of one of those life-changing books.
Nice.
I highly recommend it.
Awesome.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care, Carol. I'll miss you.
I miss you too. That was a great poem for you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Feel
Well,
the
you have
rebirth.
safe travels, and I will see you later in the month, maybe.
Yeah. Let's plan it.
Sounds good. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Patty.
Bye-bye.